What up, people? Welcome to my room. I don't know if I want you in my room, but we're here. I don't really know you like that, but you're here now. If you steal something, that's going to be incredibly odd and also going to ruin any trust that we are building. But welcome to my room, episode 10. And on the topic of episode 10, huge milestone. That's big. That's big for me. 10 episodes, 10 separate occasions of me actually picking up the courage and speaking into a camera and making something of it, And to be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. I should feel proud, but I usually push those emotions to the side so that I can feel like shit, because that's my motivator. Because I stress myself the fuck out so that I can get things done. Odd, right? We probably all do it. If you're listening to this, you're probably in the same boat. I don't want to assume, but I assumed. So, and on the topic of not knowing how we feel, today's topic is figuring out how we feel. And today I felt a lot. And if I'm being honest, I still have no idea what I'm feeling, which is incredibly ironic and hypocritical that I'm coming to you and saying, hey, you should figure out how you feel, when I'm not doing that. So why should you listen to me? I don't know. Please boost my engagement. Please share my shit. All that, because it matters to me. So why you should listen to me? Maybe because I can see through it. Maybe because I know my own flaws. And maybe because I'm trying to grow, and I hope that you can grow alongside me, and I hope that we can heal simultaneously. I don't know, dude. You tell me why you listen. It's not up to me to determine why you should feel a certain way about me, okay? Let's leave it at that. But today, I felt a lot. And I didn't stop to sit with it, to understand it. I didn't write it down. I wrote down the topic, but I didn't write down how I felt. I didn't put it on paper. I didn't talk out loud. I didn't, write it into a song. I didn't come up with a catchy phrase to put on a t-shirt, And those are the ways that I cope. The ways that I cope are through creativity, through those outlets. And I wasn't quiet long enough to figure out how I felt. Even on my walk this morning, I somehow kept such a frantic mind in an effort to keep me far enough away from myself that I didn't know what I woke up with. But if I'm being honest with you now, if I need to decipher it now, I felt a little bit lost today. Behind the gun, like I'm in some kind of rush, like I'm losing. Like I'm losing. At a young age, I'm losing. Does that make sense? At an age where this life is mine to take, because I'm not taking it completely to plan. Because I'm not doing exactly what I thought, when I thought I would do it, in the exact timing. Does that mean that I'm failing? No. It's divine timing. It's not on my timing. But I think the reason why I felt that I'm losing is because I ran away from myself. In full-blown honesty, this whole entire day, I felt something and didn't want to feel it, to decipher it, to figure any of it out. And that's the topic of today. So yeah, a little bit hypocritical, right? And another way in which I felt I was hypocritical today, and I would like to own up to myself and to you while you're listening, because I have to be a transparent person if I expect for me to inspire you to be the same. But this whole world was trying to slow me down, and one of those examples of slowing me down was a man was doing about 15 in a 45. Kept going to the right and acting like he was going to make a right turn. He wasn't. Eventually, he did. and I sped past him. Now, does that make me a monster? No. But does that make me less than what I'm telling you you need to be right here, right now? Yes. So that, in itself, really put things into perspective. I didn't stop and think and decipher how I felt before I acted on it. Before I made an effort to make somebody feel like they were less than me because they put me in a little bit of a less convenient situation than I was hoping to be in. You are not less than me, you are not less than anybody just because you actively live your life in any kind of way. And to be honest, somebody who's doing 15 and doesn't know where he's turning is probably just dazed and confused. And that is the exact way to describe how I felt today. So how am I going to hold it against someone and treat them like they are lower than me for being dazed and confused when that's exactly where I was at, but in a different way? You know, that's bizarre. And the main point of all of this, the main point of this conversation is figure out how you feel, articulate it, decipher it, and understand it before you go and act on it. Understand in what ways you want to grow, in what ways you want to either grow from it, grow with it, handle it, process it, digest it, whatever. In what ways do you want to do that? What are you hoping to accomplish before you go out there and put that huge jumbled mess onto people? Before you just dump everything that you're feeling onto somebody, figure out what you're feeling. I am so lucky to have the kind of people that I'd say 7 times out of 10, if I dropped a jumbled mess of all of my emotions at their feet, they would decipher it, look me back in my face, and tell me what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it, and what to do with it. But that is a horrible, horrible way of living. To be completely dependent on another human being to tell you how you feel, to not know yourself enough to be able to decipher it. Now, I'm not that person. I'm not. I don't constantly do that. Most of the time I think about it, I write about it. But I often can get caught in running away from it. And then when people ask me what's wrong, I don't know what's wrong, so I just spit whatever comes out of my mouth. And most of the time what's coming out of my mouth is a surface level problem. It's not me actually understanding, me actually processing and digesting the problems that I've been facing for the past week. It's 1 week of buildup and all those frustrations that have tied into that 1 week of buildup. And then me just spewing it back at that person. And probably my issue in that moment is the fact that that person cared enough to ask me how I felt. And realistically, I'm not frustrated with them. I'm frustrated with me. Because I don't know. Because I didn't stop to think about it. That's not on them, but of course I'm going to sit there and blame them and act like they are the problem when they're not. So what I need to do, and what all of us need to do, is to stop and think and articulate it. And on the topic of articulating it, our IQ as a society is going down. We have kids running and jumping through fences and calling it a challenge. That's called property damage, homie. And that, to me, is hilarious. Don't stop doing it. However, articulating how you feel, writing it, speaking it, using words that you have not heard in about 10 years' time, and if you're a 10-year-old watching this, that doesn't apply, but using those big boy words, sharpening your brain, writing something so that you actually fully process it, and then reading it back so that you are then sharpening your mind and you are actually growing and learning, it's only going to help you. You are only going to grow from that. Shit like that does not hurt you. And you may think that, you're running out of time. You're not. And that will be my next topic. That will be my next topic. I'm not going to dig too deep into that because that inspired me so much. But I need to hone it in and figure out how the fuck I feel. And how I feel is that I can't keep running away. We all can't keep running away. You have people in this world who act out as soon as anything hits. Little switch, and then they're gone. They're not the person you knew 5 seconds ago. They are now this new person. This half of them is just fully on display, and they are just this hatred human being. What? Does that make sense? No, probably not. But they are this horrid human being. That's probably what I was looking for. This horrid human being, because they don't know how to stop or process or digest or anything. All they know is how to act out. All they know is how to blame other people for their shortcomings. All they know is how to pass it on to other people for their inconveniences. Same way that I sped past a man because he was doing 15 in a 45. Is that the end of the world? No, it's not. But did I act like it? Did I sit there and let it create this loop in my mind that this person was only doing it to damage me and that this world was against me for some reason? Yeah. But realistically, this world was trying to help me. And I didn't realize that. This world was trying to slow me down so I could stop and think about what I'm going to say before it flies right the fuck out of my mouth. Because you know what that does? It damages people. When your brain is working against you and when you are aiding it by not telling it to slow the fuck down, that is just a toxic pattern. That's called a bulldozer. You know people like that? People who will bulldoze you in conversations. You can't get a word out because all that they want to do is just let their feelings fly. And they don't even know what the fuck they're feeling. They're just telling you that you're a horrid person because all that they feel is horrid. They're telling you that you are the worst person to exist. That you hit them with a bombastic side eye. And now all of a sudden you are like the most horrible, the most disastrous creation that is known to man because they don't know how to stop and how to think through what they are about to say. So don't be that person. If you've been affected by that before, don't pass that habit on. If you've been affected by that before, process and digest what you are feeling before you throw it everywhere. And understand, in what ways do you want to grow from this? Figure that out. It's not going to hurt you, you know? We all feel like it's a waste of time. Like it's a waste of time to care for ourselves, you know? Isn't that toxic in itself that we're running away from ourselves so much because caring for ourselves seems like a waste of our time? That we won't think and digest how we feel because that's a waste of our time? That we don't care for ourselves enough and care for the people around us enough to understand the conversation that we're having before we have it? It's bizarre. And conversations, any conversations, are supposed to grow you. It's supposed to grow you and the person that you're having that conversation with. It's supposed to be a two-way street in which you talk to me, I talk to you. But a conversation is not me not knowing what the fuck I'm about to say, but letting it fly out and hurt you in the process. And I think this whole world, ever since we all got locked inside and we got isolated, we gained this huge ego, this sense of huge entitlement, this idea that we can treat people however the fuck we want. And that is bizarre. It's bizarre that we are completely open to hurting another person's feelings, another human being's feelings, putting another human being down, if it benefits us in this short term, and how does it really benefit us? It just gives us that sense of pride to be able to destroy someone. And that's horrible, that I know what that's like. It's horrible let me think. How do I feel about that? I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed that I've been a part of a pattern in which I thought that I was completely justified, completely available and acceptable, that I treat someone that they are lesser than me. I'm ashamed that I've been a part of that mentality. You know? And maybe that has wrapped up into such a huge knot that I feel that I am, that my ego is enough and is correct enough that I can sit in front of this camera. I don't think that that's my intentions here, but I have to be honest with myself, you know? And that's the way that I spin out, and that's why I'm afraid to step into that way of living, afraid to stop and sit with it, you know? And I know we all are, but please, articulate the way that you feel. Discover you. Understand you. Process, digest you and how you feel before you go and bulldoze and hurt everyone around you. You deserve better. They deserve better. It doesn't matter what they did to you in the past. It doesn't matter what you did to yourself in the past. You can't keep running away from yourself. Please, stop. Sit. Understand how you feel before you put that jumbled mess onto anyone, including yourself. You know? This pressure that I put on myself today, feeling this jumbled mess, you know, rushing to the next creative habit so that I can act as if it's going to fix my every want and need, and all those pains and struggles would just dissipate because I've accomplished something. It's wrong. And it's hard for me to say that and to understand that, because I will sit here and continue to do that as many times as possible until I suddenly just feel better. And I need to acknowledge that even though I may have accomplished this recording with you here, I may not feel better after this. Because I don't know how I feel. So I'm sorry if I'm wrapping you up into this. And I hope it made sense to you. I do. And if this is disjointed and disconnected and the worst recording that you have ever heard on a milestone episode, I'm sorry. But this is me. Right now. Somebody who has no idea how they feel. And who's telling you to figure out how you feel. But maybe this is a part of the process of figuring out how you feel, you know? And maybe that's the point of all this, is that you won't know how you feel until you articulate it. Until you use these big boy words. You won't know what's going on, what this revolving door inside your head is doing to you, what it's saying to you, what it's trying to show you, what it's trying to tell you, why it's slowing you down, why it's frustrating you, why it's hurting you. Until you fucking ramble.